Welcome to the Beasts of the NFC East. I am your host, Sean Gnitzcavich, with my co-host, Jeremy Goode. And Jeremy Goode.
Yes.
It's week 7.
Right.
Game has happened. What's good, Jeremy? What's good? Because I don't know. I mean, I'm sure you can tell me a million things that's good for you, but nothing feels too good to me thanks to this guy. Thanks to this guy, and thanks to Joe Shane not listening to John Mara. You know, I don't think
I know
I didn't sleep well last night. That was more because I drank heavily to compensate for the Giants' loss, but also because Saquon was running over me in my nightmares. Jeremy, I'm sorry.
I think we're just all wondering how John Mara is sleeping right now. It's so haunting. I think if you're a Giants fan, because it's all in 4K. It was all in Hard Knocks. All that stuff was just featured, and you're like, if at least if it were behind the doors, it's like, okay, we don't have to know how inept our GM is. We don't have to know how idiotic Joe Shade is. We don't have to know that his son knows more football than him. Alas,
I don't know. I don't know. No, you keep going. I need to collect my thoughts on it.
It's just jump straight into it. A game was played yesterday, Sunday, 1 p.m. Great time to play a game, and there was certainly an outcome for both teams. It seems like one team now
28-3.
28-3 Eagles. The Eagles put a smackdown on. I'm not surprised. I'm still not all in on a Super Bowl for the Eagles, but this result just did not surprise me. We'll get into it. We've seen these two match up over the years. We've seen who the Giants are. We see who the Eagles are here and there. So it was great. And then Washington won. They killed Carolina without their quarterback.
Yeah.
So, just a great divisional game yesterday.
Oh yeah, good football. Definitely not depressing. Yeah. Let's get into it. In case you don't know, we cover the NFC East, and I'm a Giants fan, and Jeremy's an Eagles fan, and you know what? This is why we love this game. You know, so that you can have this pure joy, and I can suffer miserably. And then of course, since I went to Temple, I see everybody on their Instagram stories and social media just clowning the Giants. I'm like, sick, dude. Yeah, we are a joke, and it is miserable. So at Metlife, the Giants continue to not be able to score a touchdown. I think Daniel Jones hasn't passed for a touchdown at home since the start of last season. Still.
Since the start of last season.
Since the start of last season.
Wow.
Since
okay.
The start of last season. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. The Eagles just embarrassed us. 28-3. And it's funny because prior to this game, I was talking to my neighbor. He's like, what's like the best comeback you've ever seen in a game? I was like, probably 28-3 in the Super Bowl. And then when I was at the score, I was like, maybe? No. There is no hope. And you want to know what really, really, really sucks is that the Giants defense looked really good. After the first quarter, Saquon Barkley I think, had 5 rushes for 9 yards, something like that. He was bottled up. And I was like, the Giants offense looks like shit, but at least like we're bottling up Saquon. Like at least we're keeping him contained. The very next run is his giant breakout run.
Yep.
Going right around Azeez Ojulari. Great job, man. Way to set the edge. What a spectacular showing. And I'm sure, dude, what's the saddest part, I think, is that Saquon Barkley could have scored every single one of those touchdowns. I feel like Nick Sirianni almost felt bad. I think even Saquon was like, nah, I'm good. Like, don't, because Saquon could have he rushed for the second most yards ever against his ex team. He could have put up 300 yards. Like they were putting in Kenny Gainwell for like going out in 10-yard spurts too. That could have just been Saquon.
Yes.
It all could have been Saquon. Like he was unstoppable. Like to be fair, he wasn't getting by Dex. Dex was doing a great job stuff in the middle, but yeah, it was. And the fact that they let that happen, the fact that they attacked Azeez Ojulari on the edge with Fred Johnson blocking for him, dude. Fred Johnson.
Yeah.
Fred Johnson.
Well,
what the hell?
I'll tell you what, the Eagles, and I'll say this, confidently. I think they found their identity in this game, and that's running the ball. It's offense with Saquon, I guess, as a whole. I think that right now Jalen Hurts is a game manager. I think we saw that in this game. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because it'll help this team win ultimately. And it helps in the Fred Johnson point. It helps with Fred Johnson. Why? Because when you pass the ball a lot, Fred Johnson is not a very good player. It's hard. He's a great run blocking tackle. Not great. He's a good run blocking tackle. Not a great pass protection left tackle. So the ability to run the ball as much as they did in the second half, I think Jalen Hurts only threw the ball 4 times. That is the bread and butter. I don't know if they're going to get that every week. I think next week in Cincinnati, they're going to have to throw more. But against this New York defensive line that was just leaky as can be in the run game, Jordan Riley specifically, it was the Eagles took advantage, and I think slow start for them. First quarter, they did not score again. A lot of that's on Jalen Hurts. I mean, sometimes it's coaching. He just missed several throws in the first quarter where you're like, you can tell why they don't score early on because the quarterback's not giving you the play that you need, and I think that's on Jalen Hurts. I think that was such a textbook example of why we don't score the first quarter. But, like you said, Sean, early in the second quarter, Saquon has that break on the sideline. Pinnock was running fast. He might have – I think that was –
man.
Pinnock was running faster even, I think. But they catch up.
Well, thank you, Jason, because honestly, it hurt, and it was inevitable. It was a slow, painful death, but – at least he didn't get it would have been even worse if he got the.
Oh yes, if he broke it for that long, no doubt. Yeah. You have the fourth and 3 where you have Nick McLeod on AJ Brown 1-on-1.
Why?
I don't know who.
Why?
I don't know who wrote that up, but
that's
take
what I'm
it.
saying. I don't know if that's a miscommunication. I didn't check the press conference, but they were bracketing AJ Brown. And then having single coverage, I think Flott was on Devonta Smith. Dude, Devonta Smith, nothing in this game. Drew Phillips actually had a really nice tackle on that one catch for a loss.
For the loss of 2, yes.
Yeah.
Good play.
Drew Phillips also had a really good tackle on Saquon for a loss, too.
Yes.
So
the play to Devontae was kind of done. Like, Jalen should have read that, I think, a little better. I think he should have saw that Phillips was cheating and just on the play from the start, but it's still a great play by Phillips, obviously. I don't know. I don't know why Nick McLeod was 1-on-1 with AJ Brown. I don't know. There were a few times where the Giants were doubling Jahan Dotson, which is
that was weird.
If you're an Eagles fan, but I didn't get that. The throws to Jalen, he picked it up, in the second, third quarter, which was nice a little bit, but they hammer the ball with the ground. They ran for, I think, 270 yards. They seem to do that a lot against the Giants, too, I think, over the years. If we're not getting it through the air, even though the secondary doesn't scare me. And, oh, my God, what happened to your linebacker group?
I thought Bobby Farrakay would be better there. I thought Micah McFadden would have been better.
Me too.
No, it looked awful. It just so abysmal, and I just didn't even get that. And also, Tyler Nubin, where are you? Where are you? You're supposed to be a really great, highly touted rookie. He hasn't been doing much at all, and for a second round pick, as high as we took him as a safety. Meanwhile, and I think that just exploits, dude. Joe Shane lets Xavier McKinney walk, and he's having a legendary start to the season. Leads the league in picks with, I think, 6 picks. And you know how many interceptions the Giants have? 1, week 1, on a throwaway ball that Darius Muasau snagged. 1 interception. Right. What are we doing? What are we that's not how we built. I guess Tyler Nubin's supposed to be a ball hawk coming out of college to replace Xavier McKinney, but looks like he was worth it. Looks like Saquon was worth it. It seems like a lot of people are almost going back to running backs are valuable. I know. I think, maybe we couldn't have signed the O lineman that and honestly, our O line has been playing the best it has been in years.
And you've put some money towards it too this year.
Yeah, and that's
It's
why,
weird,
because we let Saquon walk, I guess. But like, and
right?
then there's the argument: why did we pay Jones when we could have paid Saquon? It's true. That was so stupid. That was the whole
Yeah,
thing was stupid. Like they make the franchise tag for Daniel Jones. They make it for somebody who sucked his entire
yes,
tenure and has one good year, and you're like, okay, we'll give
yep,
him one more guaranteed year, and like he just has to live with it.
yep.
And no, I mean, just
I think, yeah,
miserable.
you could
Here,
disagree with me. You could disagree with me if you think I'm wrong. I think that the biggest mistake was taking Saquon too, overall, ultimately.
yeah,
Now, I think when
that was
that
getting a little
happened,
aggressive.
I think when that happened, and they had to decide what they're going to do with Saquon and Daniel Jones. They overcompensated and they wanted to really correct that number 2 overall mistake. And they said, we'll just put it towards the quarterback so we don't have to put all that money towards running back, which in theory does make some sense. But you already invested so much in his pick at the number 2 overall pick that it's like, maybe just run the course with it, especially because he's such a great player, especially because everybody loves him in the Giants organization. Everybody was dapping
He's a
him up
really
after
good
the
guy.
game. Yeah.
He's really hard to hate,
So
you know?
and that's something that can't like that is something seriously that can't like that's what like you want good people in your locker room. He's a great person. Like you want like that helps the culture majorly, especially for how good he is too. Like on and off the field to be that great with both. It's big for a team. Yeah, I just it's I think the problem the big problem is this. Well, there are a few if you're the Giants, but Singletary
Yeah.
is a nice back, but he's small. And I think if the Eagles run defense overall this year, not as good as I thought, but still pretty decent. They sort of like established like they Singletary wasn't getting the touches. Tyrone Tracy, nice early on, but like it's just hard to pound it with him too. Like to be a feature back, if that's not working, they just were throwing the ball too much with Daniel Jones, and obviously he took too many sacks. Some of it was on the line, some of it was just that he's a statue. And Jalen Hurts actually had the same issue too, just not as many. You just got to throw the ball away or make something. I know he tried to.
Yeah.
What's his name? Neighbors had 8 targets. Good. I like that he kept going to him. Probably should have had a few more, but that's okay. Eight. That's not actually bad. But like,
And no receptions in the second half, though. No receptions in
yeah,
the second half. And he said, what happened? Did the Eagles do something differently in the second half? No, he was wide open. Daniel Jones wasn't
yeah,
getting to him. Daniel
no
Jones wasn't.
doubt.
To be fair, and this is a Brian Daboll thing, I think, and this is a Joe Shane thing. They won't give up on the fact that they think Josh Azudu should just because they drafted him in the 3rd round to be a guard.
Yeah.
He failed miserably at left tackle last year. Was never
Yes.
supposed to be a left tackle. I mean, listen. They see the players in practice more than we do, but I don't know. Give Evan Neal a shot next week, I think, or
Yeah.
Tyree Phillips, our swing tackle that we keep picking up from the scrapyard every year, seems to be a
Yes.
much better play than any of those guys, and I'm pretty sure
We
he's
liked
still on
him
the
too.
streets. Yeah,
Yeah.
I know. And guess what? When he came from you guys, after we
Yep.
picked him up off your practice squad after having him, he was better because the Eagles
Played
coached him
well.
up well. Well,
Yeah.
Carmen Brasillo, at least, I think, is doing a decent job. But yeah, no, Josh Azudu was a turnstile. It was awful.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
He's not.
what
You
did we give
can't.
up? Eight sacks to you guys?
Yeah.
1, 2, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 sacks. 7 sacks. Josh Sweat, Jalen Hunt. Hey, good for you, buddy. N'Kobe Dean. I don't know what. Not picking up those N'Kobe Dean blitzes. N'Kobe Dean
Yeah.
looked like the best
had a good
linebacker
game.
of all time.
Yeah.
He played great. Jalen Carter with the 2 sacks. I want to get into the Dexter Lawrence leads the league in sacks. The Giants still lead the league in sacks. I think our pass rush still looks good. Even Aziz, I'll tell you what, he did not set the edge for shit 2 plays in a row. It was a different run play, but like the Saquon explosive play and then Kenny Gainwell breaking it out like the same exact run essentially to his side. But yeah, Aziz, 1 sack. Brian Burns with a sack.
That was an early sack too. Yeah. The Eagles had Fred Johnson 1-on-1 with Brian Burns for early on, and I go, change this. Put in a chipper. The Eagles only ran. The Eagles only ran 12. The Eagles only had 2 tight ends. They didn't even like upgrade one, which I thought in the first play of the game they run 12 personnel with only 2 tight ends. Weird. They helped out Fred Johnson a little bit in pass, which was good because Burns was regardless of numbers, like he was active early, and you just need Fred Johnson's just not like he just needs a little extra help. Makes sense. Yeah, it was. I a few weird things. I thought down 14-0 end of the first half, not going for it on after the pass interference on Theo Johnson, just kicking the field goal. I thought was kind of silly. I get points. Like, I'm trying to understand Dable. I get wanting to get points, but like, I don't know. You gotta you want like it seemed like it was
no. You want, especially you guys are getting the ball back at half. I was thinking the same thing. I was like, the thing is, Mark Sanchez,
He's
it
the worst.
sucks to the Giants sucks because we get like the worst commentators, and Mark Sanchez is like,
Daniel
Jones you just got to drive it down there and get him 3 points. And I was like, really? That's the expectation. It's not like Daniel Jones go down there and score a touchdown. Like, no, just make sure you get to 3 points. And no, I know it was only 14-0 at the time going into the half. Aside from the AJ Brown play and the Saquon Barkley run, I mean, the defense did a really good job of containing
in the first half.
In the first half, yeah.
I would agree. Yeah.
But I do think that you get aggressive and you go for another shot. That sucks to Theo Johnson. I mean, it was like he very deliberately pushed.
Part of me hates. I'll be honest. It's definitely pass interference. I just maybe he should have. Yeah, he did a little too much. I can't even defend that. I think that sometimes that's a little punishing, because defenders are allowed to like grab receivers up until 5 yards, and then but receivers can't really fight back at all. And then if they do something like that, it's PI. He pushed off a little too much though, but like maybe if it's a little less, that they don't call it. But
I guess you gotta go lower. You know, it was too. It was like very deliberate, you know.
Yep, it was right in front of the ref too. So not the best part of the field in the middle of the end zone. But Eagles get the ball in the third quarter. They just they ran it a lot, and like in deep in territory too. Like the Giants, they were punt game looked strong. I mean, they were pinning the Eagles back. Not many. I don't think any.
That's our backup punter too, Matt Hack.
Yeah, right. Because who was it? Gillen was inactive, right?
Yeah. 2 weeks in a row. Yeah, all of our special teams are special. But the thing is too is like the Giants, like you guys got the ball to start the half. It was a 3-and-out, I believe. Right?
I think
Giants can't do anything, and then the Giants respond with what? A 3-and-out? With another 3-and-out? Like it's just, and this is the thing too. I'm starting to have doubts about Dable. It sucks.
Yeah.
But his whole thing is his play calling, and I know in the press conference he was like really alluding to the fact like it was Daniel Jones can't get any explosive plays.
Indirectly,
like, yes, that has something to do with the fact that you weren't able to get any long developing plays, but he hasn't been able to hit anybody down the field all season. And you know what?
Right.
Like, we're moving on from him. We don't want him to get hurt. They said that Daniel Jones is going to be our quarterback next week against the Steelers. Oh, that'll go swell. That defense. I'm sure it'll look so much better. But yeah, like abandoning the Malik Neighbors, like you said, he had like what eight targets. Yeah, I just but I think 2 of those were like those deep passes.
So, some of those targets weren't realistic. Yeah. Yes, agreed.
Yeah. And there wasn't enough designed get Malik Neighbors the ball, in my opinion, at all. Like not enough stuff to just get him the ball. Also, only ran the ball 3 times to running backs in the first half, but had 5 Daniel Jones designed runs in they were terrible play. That's just not the place.
And for someone who has good speed for his size in Daniel Jones, he might just have good speed, period. For what he looks like. He looked like the runs that he would do, they were like, it was like 2nd and 6, and he'd get like 2 or 3, and it's like, that's not good. Like, it would just look slow. Like, he, like, the middle of the line, like, broke a little bit, and he had room, but, like, he just, like, he didn't want to get hit, I think. So he just, like, slowed down a little bit and took what like took less, but yeah, I don't get it
It's a
there.
stupid. Those are stupid calls. Like I always watch some of those design runs too. It's like, you know what? If he actually hesitated a little bit,
Yeah.
rather than just
Right.
go full
Yeah.
in with that design run, I feel
Pump
like
fake
that.
maybe.
Yeah, something like make
Ball
it more of an
skills there.
RPO.
All
Yeah.
those neighbors catches too, I'm pretty sure, were highly contested. So meaning it wasn't easy getting him the ball. So I think they need to scheme more to make it easier to get him the ball. Obviously, it's tough in a lot of ways for outside receivers. That's the hardest part. But you gotta scheme him better. Yeah, it's just. Well, I mean, you know the stats, but last week the biggest play, 15 yards for the Giants. This week it
Yep.
was 14. You're just not going to
Yep.
win games without being able to move the ball with bigger plays like that. It's hard. It's a big field, and
Yeah.
unless you have such a systematic offense where like back to back, like 3 plays in a row, you're getting like 12 yards, 15, 13, 11. Football's too hard.
Yeah.
You need the ability to break some. And we saw that with the AJ catch. We saw that with like 3 of the Saquon runs. And
Saquon runs.
that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's field positions. That's clockwork too. And yeah. I also noticed that Dable called a timeout with like 2.5 minutes left in the game and used a few to get the ball back, which was interesting to say the least. But
that was just, dude, and like, thank God I didn't go to this game.
Yes,
actually, like, there was a part of me last week that I was like, maybe we should have went to the Eagles game instead. I feel like that's a more winnable game. But no. And I saw all like the Saquon Barkley Eagles jerseys. I
yes,
saw the whole thing fall apart. Just
yes.
miserable. Drew Lock didn't look any better. But hey,
Well,
look,
that was the thing.
if you're looking for a quarterback and you do design runs, one of the first plays, he got like 12 yards. So
Yeah, that was the thing
13.
too. It's like it's not. I'm not going to blame Drew Lock. Like it's not like his fault, but like
No.
he comes in, he looked awful. Not and again, like obviously the situation.
doesn't
What are you
look
going to
good,
do?
no.
What are you going to do? But like, oh my god, the play calling probably didn't help. But like, yeah, it's just moving the ball. It's the hardest thing about football is getting the ball from your quarterback to receivers downfield, and the Giants just don't do that well, and they're not creative. And I think their defense is still good, but there are times where like it could be leaky, and if you test their secondary, it'll break too. I know Dory Jackson didn't play.
Yeah,
But
he honestly hasn't even been that good when he's
right,
played.
that too. He's sort of like so
He's almost like a depth signing, unfortunately. But
yeah.
Cordell Flott actually has been playing better though. Like,
yes,
which,
okay.
Well, I mean, that's not. It's still. I mean, I don't want him to be our starting corner next year. So it's like,
Right.
hey,
Yeah.
it's all right, but like
Right.
you're not our future. Like I guess
Yeah.
depth. But yeah,
I feel bad for guys like Neighbors. I feel bad for Dexter Lawrence.
Yeah, Dexter Lawrence is having a defensive player of the year. I've been saying this since like week 3.
Yes.
But the sacks keep coming, dude. And it's dominance. It's just pure dominance. Like you saw him run over Cam Jurgens and start getting the sack. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. No, Dexter Lawrence is awesome. The only thing that was like redeemable and fun of watching that game was Dexter Lawrence just dominating. Which is like so sad that like the most excitement from a football game is from your defensive tackle.
It sucks too. We saw this
awesome.
We saw a similar game with Britt Covey earlier. I forget which game it was. Maybe it was Atlanta. Wando Robinson, 6 catches, but for like 23 yards. And it's like, yeah. But I still like Wando. I think that he's nice. They try to get Hyatt involved. They try to get Hyatt involved end of the game with Locke. I haven't checked on the injury. Hopefully he's okay, but it seemed like he got there was a hamstring thing. So it's like everything is just going wrong.
He also just can't catch, dude. Like that was a catchable ball. Like he just.
I think so too.
I feel like he just doesn't even fight it. And meanwhile, Cedric Tillman, who I said was like the better of the Tennessee wide receivers, the one who picked one pick after.
Yes.
Yeah, he actually played really well. Now that unfortunately Deshaun Watson is out for the season with a ruptured Achilles, I think But I saw him crying. It looked sad, like he doesn't seem like a good guy. But I kind of feel bad. I also, because I feel like the Browns fans were probably cheering because they don't have to suffer through Deshaun Watson. But Cedric Tillman looked a lot better. Like, there's some personnel moves. I don't like Joe Shane. I think everybody loved him after that first winning year. We traded for Darren Waller. We traded for a tight end at the end of his rope, whatever. It's just a lot of these draft picks haven't been hitting, and then on top of that, like, watching him on Hard Knocks, I'm thinking, like, the way he was operating, the things he was saying about specific players, I don't know. He doesn't like strike me as a mastermind. Like,
no,
at all. No, and the moves so far have not shown any of that. But I don't know. And like I said, Brian Daboll's play calling has just been like Tyrone Tracy. I'm glad it looks like it's leaning towards Tyrone Tracy. Maybe it's because they're sprinkling Devin Singletary in. I still think Tracy looked better back there.
I agree.
Get better stats. But he needs more than 6 carries. Like Saquon, I think it was like his 7th carry that he broke out.
Yes.
And that was you got to get the run game going. Like, you love all these 5-yard passes to Wan'Dale Robinson, which, by the way, some of them are so contested that he drops them. Like, I think he had like 2 or 3 drops.
There was one on like 3rd. That was
So, like, why are we doing that if you're really just using Wan'Dale Robinson to get 5 yards? Obviously, you could break it out, whatever. But it's not really working. Maybe lean on the run game to get you those, like, guaranteed. At least they're moving. It's I don't love it. I don't love any of it. Mm-mm.
Yeah, I think if you're the Giants too, sticking with the run as long as you can is better because you can work clock. Hopefully means Eagles don't get as much time to score. It's kind of unfortunate. I don't know if that would change this game because Eagles had 28 points going into the 4th quarter, and then they took their starters out, so they probably would have like scored more if they had to. But yeah, I mean, I don't like when I'll pull up the numbers, but I don't like when you have to rely on Daniel Jones's arm to make plays, and because they're not made. Now he didn't turn it over, good, but it's kind of weird too because like even if you don't turn it over, he didn't give anybody a chance downfield, which like that's like equally as deflating as turnover. I don't know, maybe not.
But and just not finding Malik Neighbors in the entire second half, like do something to get him going. Like the one thing, like, hey, look, like the Eagles have our old best friend, our old weapon. Like, at least even just for an integrity, be like, hey, well, we got this Malik Neighbors guy that's really, like, get him the ball, manufacture him the touches, get him around on a sweep for all I care. I don't like. Get him. He's the best playmaker. He's the most gifted athlete on our offense. We need to get him the ball.
Between Tyrone Tracy and Devin Singletary, let's say both are the starting running backs, more or less. 11 carries on the game. Not enough. Not even close. And if you want to add Daniel Jones's rushes, I guess some of them were designed, some of them were because of the pocket. Add another 5, that gets you to 16. Not enough.
No,
they also just didn't have many offensive snaps in general. Just 21 passes for Jones. They ran the ball 18 times, including 1 from Locke, 1 from Eric Gray. And Locke also threw 8 passes. He threw what? He had 3 completions for 6 yards. Jesus.
Probably all Wan'Dale Robinson.
Right, the ones behind.
Honestly, I'm not gonna lie. I started like we have like the big TV. It's my place. We play the Giants game, and below it was the Packers game, which is a great game against the Texans, and the Vikings Lions, another great game. I was like, if you guys want to, they're like, no. Do you guys still have it? I'm like, no, I don't. Like, oh, why are they playing your game on my TV? Oh, because Saquon Barkley just scored another touchdown. That's why they're playing my game on your TV. Why are the Giants so bad? Because we suck. Because there's some bad decisions being made. There's not really much else to talk about. I think on my end, and the Eagles. I mean, it's like you guys looked good on defense for a
Yeah.
defense that was struggling. You guys really took advantage of it. I don't know why there's nobody like picking up these Nakobe Dean blitzes. I saw one of them like maybe they were trying to get the ball to Singletary, so they wanted to like take the
Yeah.
blitz and get the ball, but no, like that was yeah. Hey, Bryce Huff too. Yeah, Bryce
Bryce
Huff.
Huff got
All,
the action.
all,
Yay.
all the pass rushers that you've been complaining about, they got in on it, dude.
They
Bryce Huff,
did. They did. The Georgia guys,
Will
obviously, Jalen
Smith.
Carter. Jalen Carter's
Yeah,
been pretty active his few years of the career, but the Georgia guys
yeah,
got going. Nolan Smith. There's something to Nolan Smith too. I do think he's small, and I think that's gonna
yeah.
always be like tough for him. But he has some speed and some ability on the edge for sure. But yeah, I think I think someone has to tell Daniel Jones, and like if you said he's starting next week, okay, someone has to tell him just get rid of the ball. Stop. You can't keep taking all those sacks. Same goes to Jalen too. He took a few. He took an Eli sack where he was holding onto the ball, then he just dove down and
Yeah.
obviously he protected himself. But like if you're Jalen Hurts, you should never take those kind of sacks. Oh my god,
Well,
if
this is
you're
the first game
immobile,
where the Giants that really got sacked. I mean, I think there
yes,
was, yeah. I mean, other than that,
yes.
from what I remember, it was like 2 sacks, 3 sacks.
That's
Yeah,
kind of my concern because I think it's 2 weeks in a row. The Eagles have been really productive 2 weeks in a row in getting sacks. I hope it's not because of the offensive lines with the Browns and the Giants. It very well could be. We'll see
yeah.
going in
The
next week.
Giants feasted against the Browns as
Yeah,
well. I think we had
yeah.
8 sacks.
So hopefully, I just want pressure from like the defensive line. Just give me like legit pressure, and good things will come. But
Yeah, I mean, your Super
yeah.
Bowl year, you had what, five players with 10+ sacks?
Oh yeah, I think they finished with like
Yeah,
72 sacks that year for the team,
yeah.
which is crazy. But Cooper DeChene emerging as one of my favorite players on the team with some great punt returns. Great to see.
Yeah, you
Wow,
see
he's exciting.
when Daniel Jones stiff armed them, though, huh?
Yes, I did see that.
Did
I
it,
did see that.
that was one play.
That was a
That was
play.
a play. White on
That's
white
something.
crime.
That is true. Duke and Iowa right there too. That matters to it. Matters to
Yeah,
the fact. Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the 4th and 3 where they went to AJ, uh, risky play by the Eagles. It feels like those plays are not 50-50 anymore. It sort of seems like I think I said this last week to you, Sean. It sort of feels
yeah.
like they're 60-40 now in the Eagles' favor just because how talented AJ Brown is. Um,
Hmm.
it worked. There, if you're going to be aggressive and it works, there's something to it, and it's working several times now. There's something to it. It's also tough in that situation on the 4th and 3. It would have been like a 58-yard field goal. I don't know if they're hitting that in MetLife. That's with the win situation there
Yeah.
historically. I don't think that was happening. So, um, yeah, not much by Jake Elliott. Jake. So the Eagles were. This is such a silly point, and
Yeah.
I hope the viewers are can get into this and be a little nerdy.
Yeah.
It seems dumb. So the Eagles switched off between Elliott and Braden Mann for kicking off, and most of it was Braden Mann, the punter. And they always kicked it off, and they always gave the ball to the Giants' 30-yard line, except for the first one where the Eagles were somehow out of position. Burks for the penalty, he was illegally wherever he was.
Yeah.
Idiot. How does that happen on the first play? And so the
Yeah.
Giants got the ball to 35. But usually the Giants got the ball on the 30. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, if they get touchbacks, you get it to the 30. You have to like kick it in the air where they're catching it at like the goal line or the 1, because the chances
Yeah.
are them getting to the 30 not that high. So I never understood that. Fortunately, it didn't hurt them in this game, but something to consider overall. They kept on booting it into the
Yeah.
end zone. So um,
Yeah. I don't really get that either, to be honest.
yeah, that was a little weird. But yeah, I mean, Neighbors, he was good early on.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
easy, but
First play of the game. First play of the game was like I think it was the 14-yard play, which was our longest
yes,
play. And I was
yes,
like, oh yeah, Neighbors is back. We're alive. We got a fighting chance now.
yes.
No, it was.
It's
It was a
tough.
mess.
It's going to be. It's tough.
Sure was.
Receivers, as we know, receivers are divas to start off with. So it'll be tough. I
Just
know
unhappy.
there was always in training camp when he was asked about Daniel Jones how he gave pretty candid answers. Not the worst answers, but like he was honest and. You just hope that it's not too long of a season for him, just like going through the motions with him. The good thing is Daniel Jones does usually get the ball to him, and it's worked.
I mean, he has. I don't know what happened.
It's worked well
game.
for the most part. So maybe that's maybe they just keep developing neighbors that way, and then say bon voyage at the end of the year to Daniel Jones. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'll ask you this, Sean. Like,
yeah.
Do you just clean house with Joe Shane, Dable, and Daniel Jones? Because then at that point, at least the new head coach can pick their own quarterback too. So
yeah. Definitely need to get rid of Jones. I mean, and you saw on Hard Knocks, like the Giants were already done with Jones too. You know, like they're very heavily trying to get a quarterback to replace him. I mean, he was obviously going to play this year just due to the contract, but we can cut bait with him, cut ties with him, which is why, honestly, the season's over. Daniel Jones isn't going to show me anything to make me want him next year, you know?
Yes.
So I mean, I think he's still better than Drew Lock, but contract-wise, if he gets hurt, we're fucked. So I'm almost ready to just pull and put Drew Lock in. And I think next week, if in the first half Daniel Jones looks as bad, I think the switch to Drew Lock is going to be a lot quicker. I love Brian Table, but the whole thing is like his offensive guru, and now he doesn't have any excuses now. He's calling the plays.
Yeah.
He wants to get more. I mean, I do like he has been putting in a lot more of the deep passes, like designed deep passes. It's just that Daniel Jones can connect on them. But like last year, like those weren't even being called. But I guess maybe it's because Mike Kafka knew Daniel Jones can't hit him. You know, like that's probably why. But yeah, I don't love Joe Shane. I'm not gonna lie. And honestly, seeing the person he was on Hard Knocks, I think he's a freaking dork, and I think that his drafting has been awful. Like pretty rough. Not gonna lie. Yeah, it just like the depth, like to Josh Azudu, you know, like Micah McFadden, you could say was okay. Daniel Bellinger, like he hasn't been like a success in a later round pick. Like Theo Johnson and Tyrone Tracy look great, right? Like so far, you know, but yeah. And like Wandale, I love Wandale, but you want to know who else was on the board when we got Wandale? George Pickens, you know? Like I know that like that's the type of receiver they wanted, but like I think
Wandale was a second round pick. And Hyatt was a second round pick.
Third round pick.
Okay.
Third round pick for Hyatt. But we did trade up to get Hyatt. But like I said, I think I mean, I was excited about that too. I mean, like you thought maybe you could develop him, and he was fun for the offense last year. But yeah, he's just a gimmick player. To trade up into the third round for a player that can't run routes, pretty rough. I think we should probably get to this Commanders game though. Anything else for these Giants? Is there anything else?
Nah, I don't want to beat you up too bad. Just from an all serious perspective, I just look at this Giants team and it's been the same kind of stuff. And I think you held on to Eli Manning too long and weren't able to give him up. And you just go into the Daniel Jones era, and it's just enough of that. So I think this organization has really slipped.
I think that's the most. Yeah. No. You're right. We have slipped. No, continue.
But it's okay because like you got 2 Super Bowls like in 7 and 11. So like. It's kind of nice, but yeah, I mean, I hear that all the time about like 18, but like, yeah, I just think it's weird because like I think the Cowboys are a laughing stock. I don't think people care enough about the Giants, but like I think in terms of like managerial stuff over the last decade, the Giants have probably been the worst. It's kind of like, and this is a team like in the 2000s, early 2010s, where it's like. Defense was premier. Offensive weapons were nice. They weren't a cakewalk necessarily. The Eagles always had good numbers against Eli Manning in the wins, but like they weren't easy wins. And like they just got to get back on the wagon in a good way.
Yeah, I mean, I will give Joe Shane credit that he finally addressed the O-line this offseason.
He put money into it, yeah.
He put money, but then didn't really.
Still not good
enough.
enough.
I guess Evan Neal is supposed to be the depth, but meanwhile, we're not putting it in Josh Azudu. Come on, you got to cut ties. We've had it's the third year for Josh Azudu. We've seen him, and he sucks. He shouldn't have been out there. He should never have been out there. He looked bad in the preseason too. I mean, it's I don't. Yep. It's stupid. But let's get to this Commanders game.
Okay.
The Commanders beat the Carolina Panthers pretty handily at home, 40-7, and that was without Jayden Daniels, which he got hurt with a rib injury. Still week to week. We were talking about that. We don't really know. I hope he plays next week because it's Bears Commanders, and that's going to be a fun game of the number 1, number 2 pick quarterbacks. But as far as this game goes, man, I mean, the Panthers sucked, so I think this game was going to happen this way regardless. But the defense played really well. Dante Fowler's been having a great year. Starts off the game with a 67-yard pick six, which was awesome on Andy Dalton. He also had a really good 4th and short tackle for loss stop. He also had a sack on Andy Dalton. He had a great game. Frankie Louvu continues to impress. He looks awesome. Like we said, I think that was both of our favorite signing because he's still young. Yeah. He's still got good skill.
Still realistic, go forward kind of player from going after this year. Yep.
Yeah. A player that you can build around on defense. And Emmanuel Forbes got in there and got an interception. Good for you, Emmanuel.
You're a guy,
that's good for you, Emmanuel Forbes. But I think the biggest takeaway was a lot of people were talking poorly of Cliff Kingsbury's offense. But even with Mariota on the helm, it looked pretty smooth and was able to do whatever it really wanted. The run game stayed strong. Brian Robinson, anytime touchdown, I feel like every time he's healthy, I'm just putting it because they just love putting him in the end zone, in the red zone. Terry McLaurin, another great game. Mm-hmm. Zach Ertz, another great game, and Ben Sinnott gets his first touchdown. For our fantasy team, I was like, Ben Sinnott. That was his only play. 2 catches for 6 yards and a touchdown. But hey, good for you. And he had a good little celebration. It's good to see him getting worked into the offense. What are your thoughts on it? It was kind of cool because they have. Yeah, what are your thoughts on the?
No, go ahead. Say what you were about to say.
Oh, I was just saying, there's the crossover, Frankie Louvu and Jeremy Chin, their revenge games on the.
Oh yes, true. Wow. Yeah. My takeaway is that the Panthers are just god awful, and it's just not. Hubbard only giving you 3 yards of carry is going to be difficult when you rely on Dalton to throw the football. Through a few interceptions. There's not many people catching the football in Carolina besides Sanders, the rookie out of Texas.
I like.
But otherwise, it's just really ugly. Their receiving is Deontay Johnson, 1 catch, 17 yards. Jalen Coker, 1 catch, 17 yards.
10
Ian
yards.
Thomas, 10 yards.
Yeah.
10 yards. Ian Thomas, 2 catches, 4 yards. Xavier Legette, 2 catches, 3 yards. Miles Sanders.
And 6 yards rushing.
-6, yes. This could be, at first I thought the Browns were the worst offense after last week. Then I thought the Giants were the worst offense after yesterday.
Thanks.
It's gotta be no problem. It's gotta be Carolina. This is the worst. This might be the worst offense in NFL history.
It doesn't give me much solace, but yeah.
Yeah, well, it's something. It's bad. Oh my God.
Hey, Bryce Young got some time. He got to try to redeem himself with -4 yards passing.
Yes.
It's rough. Sucks for Andy
Yep.
Dalton. I like to see like the Andy Dalton and Marcus Mariota meet up to like, hey, we're like pretty much competing for the same jobs right now.
It's so funny.
Like for the aging backups. Mariota actually looked good. I'll tell you what, it's accurate. Like he was moving on the ground. He wasn't as efficient as Jayden Daniels, but
And I'll tell you what, when Mariota was here, he never actually played, fortunately, last year. But during training camp and during the preseason, he was not accurate at all. Maybe it's something in the Washington system where they're, able to just get the ball out early, make easy, quick reads, and that helps the quarterback out. So that would be smart if that's the case. And we're seeing, Daniels has been very accurate too, and a guy like Mariota who has, at his age, 30 or whatever, isn't as accurate. Comes in 18 for 23, only 200 yards throwing, which okay, but you get that he's not chucking downfield. They're they just continued. It's a good bridge, I guess, for this week for them to continue what they have been doing the first 6 weeks before this game.
Yeah. It's crazy because like Mariota aged like a president, but he's only 30 years old. So
yes.
He's so And what I don't get though, and this is a totally different game. Why were the Browns playing Dorian Thompson-Robinson when Jameis Winston?
I don't know. That was weird.
It would have been fun to have Mariota and Jameis come in same week,
true. No doubt, but also like if you're the Browns, Jameis can easily win you games. Like he can go in there for like 7 weeks and collect some wins. I wouldn't want him to be my starter because that's where it's just limiting if you need him to be a starting quarterback for your team at this point. But like,
he's exciting.
He looked better when he got in. He looked good. But I don't know why. Dorian was the first backup, who I like. I think he's
me too.
Good idea behind him, and especially since he's mobile. But I thought Jameis would be the backup.
Yeah, especially when you pay him that contract, it's very interesting.
Yep.
And also, like, I know that we got outbid for Tyrod Taylor, but by like what, $2 million?
Yeah.
I don't care. Like, I really like. You saw how bad, and like. And honestly, now you're hamstrung. Like that $2 million, Joe Shane, that you weren't willing to pay Tyrod, might have saved your job and Brian Dable's job because I think Tyrod, he looked better than Daniel Jones last year, and I think he would be able to dominate this offense too. He's mobile. I know that Brian Dable likes having a little bit of mobility in his quarterbacks. I think he has a better arm. He's better deep ball. That's for sure.
Yep.
And plus, like he was liked in the Giants locker room by everybody. So, I would have loved to cap Tyrod. Because I going back to the Giants. More about these Commanders though. I don't know. There's really not that much to say. It was kind of like a cakewalk. I mean, they just looked dominant though. Like that's. Yeah. I mean, as they should. If you're playing the Carolina Panthers, defense looked good and the offense looked good. Yeah.
If your quarterback does get hurt, it's good that it happened against the Carolina Panthers.
Especially with like a wide open, well, not a wide open NFC East, but with you in the reins of the NFC East. And honestly, I don't see, as of right now, it looks like all of the wild card spots are going to the NFC North, which they look dominant. So
I think that'll probably because they're going to have to knock it. Like they're going to have to cancel each other out a little bit, but they'll probably get I think they'll get 2 spots of them. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, the Bears are obviously the weakest one, and they still have a great defense, and Caleb Williams seems to be putting it together. So very interesting. Anything else you want to say about these Commanders before we move on?
I want to see them tested more. I think Baltimore was a good test. Obviously, the results happened in that game the way they did. I really want to see them play like good teams. Maybe
that's fair. So, I mean, the Ravens, and like the thing is, they played pretty well for like that. Felt like the most win a loss could feel like against one of the best teams in the Ravens. But
yeah. Yeah, they were down, down 10 for a lot of the game, but they fought, they came back and made it competitive for sure.
Yeah. All right, we have some. Let's. I guess we should move on to our fantasy league. Are you ready for that?
Yes.
Do you have any guesses as to the
I
results
was
for this
thinking
league?
Jalen did well,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I have Devontae, right?
You do have Devonta Smith, yes.
And he was no bueno. He didn't get the ball. He
I
had
think
one
you
catch
got
for
point.
minus.
Yeah,
Yeah,
point
he
three
had
points. Point 3
one
points.
catch for minus 2 yards. I have no
Yeah.
idea. I couldn't tell you
Yeah.
how it went.
Well, I just so me and Jeremy did a best ball fantasy league. We only
Yes.
picked NFC East players, so it's the best quarterback, the best 2 running backs, best 2 wide receivers, and tight end and a flex. So my team reads as such: quarterback Daniel Jones beat out Jayden Daniels, even though Jayden Daniels only played like 5 snaps by a few points, getting 5.96 points for me.
Okay.
Thanks to those nice designed quarterback runs. Couldn't find Malik Neighbors more because that also hurt me. My running backs are Tyrone Tracy Jr. with 4.7 points,
Okay.
Austin Eckler with 3 points.
Okay.
My wide receiver 1, A.J. Brown with 17.4. Wide
Uh,
receiver 2, Malik Neighbors with 6.1.
okay.
And my flex is Wandale Robinson with 5.3.
What
Giving
about your
me,
What about your tight
oh,
ends?
tight end, yeah, tight end, Ben Sinnott with 7.6.
Darn it.
Yeah, giving me a total of 50.06 points, which is
Oh
atrocious.
wow. Okay.
Your team, though, Jeremy, your team
Yeah.
did. You had some heavy hitters. You had some garbage players, but you had some heavy hitters. And
Yes.
guess what? What are your tight ends finally put up points for you? So that's
Very
good.
good.
Jalen Hurts 22.76. Saquon Barkley 25.7.
Wow.
Brian Robinson, yeah,
Yes.
almost, yeah.
Almost beat you with those two.
Yeah, dude, you literally almost beat me with your quarterback and your running back.
Yes.
Brian Robinson with 13.1
Okay.
was running back 2. Terry McLaurin was wide receiver 1 for you with 12.8. Wide
Yep.
receiver 2, you have any guesses as to who your wide receiver 2 is?
Yes. It was no, not him. It was B Rob.
No, your wide receiver 2.
Oh, wide receiver two. Oh, okay.
You had to dig
Yikes.
deep into the wells here
Yeah,
because
yeah, yeah. This is
Jahan Dotson didn't do anything.
oh
Brandon Cooks
no.
obviously didn't play. Hurt. Devonta
Um
Smith didn't do anything.
is he a giant?
Mm-mm.
Oh no. He must
So
be
it
a
has to be
commander.
an ex-Eagle.
Alameda Zacchaeus.
Yeah, 4.5
Wow.
points. All right.
Yay.
And hey, Daniel Bellinger gets involved with 1.6
Yay.
points, and Kenneth
Oh,
Gainwell with 7.2 points. And that's your
yes. Nice
flex,
little
giving you
team there.
giving you 87.66. You know, you got like I realized I only have one Eagle on my entire team, and it's AJ Brown. Since we're getting wrapped up a little early here, do you want to add like 3 players that weren't drafted? I think I still have a better record, so I think you'd get
Right
first pick.
now.
Right now, yeah, because there's some players that weren't drafted that I feel like we
Yeah,
should
sure.
add. So here, I'll just send you the list that way you know who is here. Here, bam. Those are all the players, that were drafted by us, by
Okay.
respective teams.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe because before we had this, before we started this, we didn't know who was going to be. Some players have been more of a factor,
No
but yeah,
doubt.
I'll give you the first pick. I say let's just add. I mean, there's really not too many players, maybe 2 players apiece.
Okay. Zachers.
Yeah, I knew you were going there.
I need tight. I need. I mean, in all seriousness, my tight end situation is horrid.
Yeah,
I'll tell you
yeah,
what. You can have since I got first pick, you can get next pick.
Oh yeah, 2.
Pick after, yes, like Snake.
I like that. So I'm gonna go Jalen Tolbert. I mean,
that's a good pick.
Probably should have been drafted because I feel like
Absolutely.
he's been, especially with Brandon Cooks out. And then I'm gonna go Grant Calcaterra.
Oh, Calky.
Because he's been actually featured a little bit since.
Yes. And
Dallas
with Goddard,
seems to be injured every
good.
week.
I like that.
All right, so you got one more. Unless you want to do 2 more, we can probably do 2 more, right? So you're going to do 2 in a row. Yeah.
Darn. Who?
Let's just do 1 more then.
Okay.
Yeah, because there's only like a few that I can think.
That's the thing. I'm trying to think of who missing, but like who would be like interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone, I assume. Yeah. Do I want to? Okay. Oh, you know who I'll go with? I will go with. One second. Just make sure.
I got a couple in mind.
Yes. I will go with my common fellow first name, Jeremy McNichols.
I thought that's who you were going to go with. Yeah, he's just been getting a lot of run.
No doubt. Good for injuries too. It seems like he's established in the offense even when everybody is healthy, or established enough, I should say, with this position as a backup.
Yeah, cool. All right, let's move on to these previews.
Yeah.
So, week 8 coming at you strong. The first game of the week will be the Eagles in Cincinnati. Jeremy, I'll let you take this away while I pull up the spreads.
Interesting game, Sean. I don't. Cincinnati's defense, very bad. Mm-hmm. But their offense is still going to be scary. It is in Cincinnati. You don't have to win with style points and wipe out a team. And hopefully with the Eagles wiping out the Giants, hopefully that'll give them, I guess, less pressure with having to smack around teams instead of just winning, or just instead of just focusing on getting a win. Cincinnati really can't afford to keep losing as much this early in the season, but I think I'm going to. I want to see the lines, but I think I'll go.
I'm going to give you the spread first.
Yes. What is it? What is it?
Right.
It's -2.5 for Cincinnati.
-3 is what I have.
Oh, you were 3. Okay.
-3 on DraftKings. Yeah, I'm not
ESPN bet has 2.5.
You know what, dude? Honestly, DraftKings odds sometimes suck compared to.
Yeah,
that's what I found.
I agree.
Yeah, so -3, -2.5 at that home field advantage, essentially, kind of a pick 'em. I mean, the Bengals have won their last 2 games. They had the heartbreaking loss the week prior to the Ravens.
Yep.
Their offense is kind of, is still stepping up. I mean, it's still able to put out a good amount of points. They still have a great offense. I'll tell you what, though, they have, I believe Amarius Mims is starting at right tackle, the rookie, and I feel like he's struggled a little bit. Like the Giants really against the pass rush. So maybe the Eagles pass rush can get back, keep it rolling. I'm thinking personally, it's a pick 'em in my brain. I feel like I could go either way.
I can see that.
But I kind of like the way that the Bengals have been playing. I'm going to go Bengals -3 at home. Just because they need it.
Wow.
Jeremy, what are you thinking?
I'm taking Eagles outright. So I'll take them at +2.5. Or +3, whatever you have. Yeah. It'll be close.
I think so too. I'm curious to see the game. Yeah.
Yeah.
Even you have been saying all season that you think the Bengals suck. So
yeah, I'll modify that a little bit. They've picked it up for sure. And I think they're definitely playing. They sucked earlier in the year. They're playing better football now. Still think there's something missing with. I think their defense is lacking, obviously, but I think offensively there's something just off. I don't know what it is. I think Chase Brown and Zach Moss, good duo, and they've been able to find the end zone, at least Chase Brown. But I don't know what it is this year. But it ever since the Super Bowl, it's kind of been like a little downhill every year since. So we'll see. But it'll be a good game. Two good teams, and Bengals are 0-3 at home too on the year. So if there's ever a game for them to win at home, it would suck if it were this one, but I could see it, I guess. So yeah.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say before we move on to the Commanders game?
No, I'm excited for that one. Probably get
Yeah,
more
me too.
nervous as the week goes on.
Hey, this is if you like watching all the NFC East games like we do, at least nobody plays at the same time, so you can really
That's
focus
nice.
in. So the next game at the 4:25 Eastern slot, the Chicago Bears go to Washington. Jayden Daniels is still week to week. I'm looking at it with the rib injury.
Oh, he's week to week.
Week to week, so he could play.
Oh, well,
I feel like he.
I would, me personally, I could be wrong. If someone's
Yeah.
week to week, I think they're for sure not playing this coming week and maybe the week after. But I could be wrong.
Yeah, well, this is it says week to week with a rib injury, but could play against the Bears. We'll see.
Okay.
If he does play, obviously awesome matchup. I think we've already alluded to it. The number 1 pick versus the number 2 pick, always super fun to see, especially because they've both been playing really well.
Yep.
But this, I believe, will be the best defense that the Washington Commanders have faced. This Bears defense has been great. You got a Montez Sweat revenge game. So that'll be fun. I'm sure he's going to be all over the place. And the spread, Jeremy, is Washington Commanders plus 2.5 at home. So they are home dogs to the Bears. I think that might have to do with the Jayden Daniels as well. But yeah, I think this is going to be a tough test. And especially if Jayden Daniels isn't playing, Mariota looked great against the Panthers defense, but the Panthers defense sucks.
What line did you say you had, Sean? What was the line?
I have the Commanders plus 2.5. What do you have?
Okay, so I have them at +3. So either, yeah.
Yeah, so everything's between it. So 2.5, 3, yeah. I mean, it's hard to root against a Commanders team or pick against a Commanders team that's hot, but if there's a team that should be able to match them up and play them well, it is the Chicago Bears. So, and I think the defense also, I think that they've done, pretty good against bad teams, but offensively, the Bears have a bunch of weapons, and I think they will all be in full effect against this Commanders team. So I'm going Chicago Bears.
Okay.
Minus 2.5, minus 3. I think they win this game. If Jayden Daniels plays, I think it's going to be competitive, and I think it's going to be a higher scoring game. The over-under is at 45. What do you think of Jeremy?
Yeah, I'll give you both in both case situations. If Daniels doesn't play, yeah, I'll take the Bears at minus 2.5. If begrudgingly though, not because I think the Bears earn it. If Daniels does play, and he's not like too affected with the rib injuries, like there's not like because that's not a fun injury. I'll take
especially mobile wise.
I'll take true. I'll take Commanders plus 2.5, and I'll take them outright as well.
All right. Yeah, I feel like with the rib injury, regardless, even if he does make it to play, like he's going to be limited. He's not going to be as apt to run. I don't think
it'll be harder for sure. It won't be like It'll be a tighter game.
But regardless, I think it'll be. I think a key to that victory is going to be what they've been doing: a good balance, a good run offense. Get Brian Robinson, get McNichols, get Austin Eckler out there, and then if Daniels can run him too. And let's just hope the defense holds up. It's definitely going to be, I think, the biggest test because the Ravens team is notorious for their defense, but this isn't like the best year for them defensively. So I think this is definitely the best defense they're going to face thus far this season.
Yes.
Anything else for the Commanders for you?
No. Yeah, big $64 million question is if Daniels plays or not.
Yeah, that is true. But we have the Sunday night. We got 2 primetime games in the NFC East this week. 2 great ones. We got the 49ers, the Dallas Cowboys, Sunday Night Football, go to San Francisco. And the 49ers, I keep on trying to pull up their freaking record because they just lost again yesterday. 3-4. The 49ers are 3-4. Rough loss to the Chiefs last week. Barely beat out the Seahawks. Lost to the and I believe they also just lost Brandon Ayuk to an ACL injury. The spread currently is Cowboys plus 5.5. But the good thing for the 49ers is that they have one of the best running attacks in the league. And the Cowboys have one of the worst run defenses in the league. And I think that Kyle Shanahan's a very smart coach, and I believe he will probably rely on that. On top of that, I do want to look a few things up because I want to see who's coming back from injuries real quick. Jeremy, what is your thoughts?
Ayuk is out for the season, just to confirm. Interesting kind of game because the Niners are just not the Niners this year. Injuries, other stuff too. Losing the Super Bowl hangover. The Eagles had that experience too. It's real. But the Cowboys are just so bad, Sean. And the Niners will squeak one out. It is I believe it's in San Francisco. Maybe I'm wrong.
It is, yes, yeah. San Francisco.
Dallas will lose. Dallas isn't good. I think so. They can't run the ball. They haven't been able to throw the ball they don't have many playmakers catching it either. Their defense, you can score on them a lot, it seems like. Even with this decimated Niners team, who needs to win too at 3-4, and just nothing going their way so far this season, basically the first 7 weeks. They'll get the win. Let me look at the lines. I'll see what
Yeah. Oh, wait. You're talking about it's plus 5.5 for the Cowboys.
Correct. I have that too.
Or maybe 6, 5.5.
Yeah, I actually have 5.5. Yeah. Oh darn! I wish the Cowboys are just that bad. Where I'll take the Niners at 5.5. Absolutely. All things considered, it's just who Dallas is. I think. Yeah.
I think so too. And I looks like Micah Parsons. He's doing good, is what Mike McCarthy said. So chance he plays. I think if he doesn't play this week, he'll at least play the rest of the Falcons.
What a coaching discrepancy too between Kyle Shanahan and
Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
Let's see, Mike.
Well, the Niners have lost a good bit, so.
Let's see. And DeMarcus Lawrence looks like. Okay. Oh, Deron Bland should be coming back though for the Cowboys.
Okay.
That's a big update.
Instead of 45 points, they'll give up 37. All right.
Yeah, we'll see. Hey, maybe he'll come back with a pick 6. Dude, come back strong.
Last year, that was the case.
Yeah,
every week he was doing that.
Yep. Yeah, some good ones. That's for sure. I'm going to also go the 49ers, though. I just think, talk about a team who needs a win. And I think they're a better team than they've been showing. Their defense, I don't think, has been as good as it has in years past. Their O-line, they really just have Trent Williams, and I feel like everybody else is kind of iffy. But, hey, Ricky Pearsall just came back, too. So even with Brandon Ayuk out, one guy down, one guy back. And they still have Juwan Jennings, who's been great. And
it might take Pearsall some time to get
fully going.
And just, like, truly, truly recovered. But I don't know.
Yeah. It's crazy. Like, Brian Robinson came back strong after he got
Yes. And I think he came back sooner too. Maybe it's placement as well. But
yeah. I like how he's also wearing the watch. That's the whole reason why I got shocked. So
right.
That watch. He's been wearing it, and that's pretty badass.
Powerful.
And the last game, man, I just love how they keep giving the Giants primetime games. The Giants are playing Monday night, October 28th, on my brother's birthday, his 30th. So let's hope we get a win. In Pittsburgh, yes, and that is the spread. I have on DraftKings. I have the Giants plus 6.5, over under 36. So that just goes to show how much of a stinker they think this primetime game is going to be, and based on the fact that the Steelers' defense is really good,
yes,
and the Giants' offense looks like shit. I don't feel that confident. I'll tell you what, though, if Brian Daboll wants to maybe ease any hot seat rumors, I think that he tries to design plays this week. Bring out the bag of tricks. I'm not talking 4 design quarterback runs with Daniel Jones in the first half. I'm talking let's get some reverses. Let's get some flea flickers. I've been seeing some fun stuff around the league. Let's have fun. If we're gonna suck and lose, can we at least have fun? Can I at least see Malik Neighbors get the ball? And I don't know, maybe rely on the run game and a little bit, at least make it a factor, especially when Josh Azudu can't hold up for a developing play.
Yes.
It is keep it balanced. That way they're just not bringing the house because it just pass after pass. It's just, I don't know. In other news, Russell Wilson actually looked really good for the Steelers, and George Pickens kind of got unlocked and had a great game with Russell Wilson at the helm.
A lot of contested passes,
yeah. So I actually think that Russell Wilson might be better than Justin Fields with a better matchup than Justin Fields for us, for the Giants.
Oh, yeah. I would agree.
Rush
yeah.
Is a strength. I know that Russell Wilson is a scrambler, but as he's gotten older, he's not as
doesn't move as much.
Scrambly.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, doesn't move as well. Yeah. So, but also the Giants, our run defense doesn't look too hot.
No,
it has not looked very good since the Commanders game where they ran all over us. Obviously, Saquon Barkley had more yards than the Giants offense did yesterday, and Arthur Smith loves to run the ball with Najee Harris. Pat's back. He hasn't been getting that much run. Jaylen Warren's kind of been having a down year, but I think he's been dealing with injuries. But Najee Harris, I feel like has in the past 2 weeks has
done a good job.
Really, really turned it on. So, I don't know. If I'm being completely honest with you, I think the Giants are not going to cover the spread. I would like to be more optimistic, but I honestly I don't know. The Steelers' defense is good. The Giants' offense is shit. I mean, it's just kind of a no-brainer. But I hope that we have some fight, and I hope that our defense continues to put up numbers. Jeremy, I'll let you go.
This is what you do if you're the Giants. You call Mario Manningham up. You call David Tyree up. You call Plexico Burris up. You call
Brandon Jacobs,
Jeremy Shockey, maybe Tiki Barber too.
And the whole line.
And then you get on the phone with Justin Tuck, Michael Strahan, and you say, "Boys, we need a game." And they come out of retirement and they give you something. God, I agree with your Russell Wilson comment. I think that's a better matchup for you guys. I also just don't think Russell Wilson's that good, especially at his age and whatnot. But I can't. No. I think Steelers cover. I think it's hard to go against that, just from what we've seen. But with the Giants, you just gotta play defense.
When I'm looking at this game, the top article is the Pittsburgh Steelers will trade Justin Fields to the New York Giants. Well, I'm not going to lie. I think we should have kicked the tires on one of those quarterbacks in the offseason.
I agree.
I mean, they both went for cheap. Russell Wilson met with the Giants. I don't think Justin Fields did. But
I agree, and I think I also think it was dumb that Pittsburgh brought both of them in. I thought they should have just gone
Yeah.
after Fields. But yeah, I mean, anything any of those two would be great options instead of Daniel Jones at this point. Sure,
Yeah. But yeah, so you think the Steelers are covering the spread as well?
I think they will. Yes.
Yeah. Yep. It's pretty miserable to be a Giants fan right now. Not gonna lie, the whole world seems useless. The excitement's not, especially because of the way that we lost to Saquon Barkley. It's just like
Oh yeah.
Giants fans, hang in there. I'll tell you what I've been doing is I've been watching more college football, which I did last year too,
Mm.
to get ready for a future quarterback. And I think this year is the year
Oh
we actually
no,
pull
too
the
early.
trigger.
Too early for that.
No. But the thing is, like, it's also like I don't know, like, what's that? Are we gonna have another Danny DeVito, Tommy DeVito run where we win like 5 games and put
Yeah.
ourselves too far away to get a quarterback? That's a chance. Actually, I haven't even looked it up, but current NFL draft order. I think the Giants must be farther
I think they're
down
like
here.
fifth, maybe. I don't know. I saw a tweet.
Still ninth. Come on, man.
I saw a tweet yesterday that said, "I can't wait for our last week in December, where we're sitting at the 5th pick, and Dave DeVito wins in a sloppy 9-6 game, and then we drop to like 11."
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think it was good that we dropped because I like.
What did I say, Danny DeVito?
I said Danny DeVito too. It's just like
that actually. I don't do that intentionally. That literally just comes out every time.
Yeah, no, me too. I do it by accident too, dude. I just like Tommy DeVito. I mean, I was at the Giants game and I heard so many people talk about him, and they said Danny DeVito too.
Yeah,
it's close. But yeah, the Giants are currently ninth. That's with the Jets, the Saints, the Jags, and the Raiders all tied with us with a 2-5 record, and the Giants still have ninth instead of fifth. But I don't know. It's too early. But I mean, I'm literally thinking of like quarterback scenarios.
Sanders.
I like Cam Ward better. Yeah, I think Cam Ward's above and like far.
Sanders is accurate though. Like,
he is accurate,
ridiculously accurate, which is something that it's hard to pass up on.
Yeah. But anyways, that's an episode, guys. Thank you so much, Jeremy. Thanks for taking a little easy on me.
Yes.
The mental anguish and pain was enough seeing Saquon.
Just who I am.
Thanks,
just who this Philadelphia fan base is. New York is
really nice.
Our little brother, and we don't want them to be in too much pain. So we move on.
All right. Well, that's an episode. Thank you, guys. Like and subscribe. If you're a Giants fan, feel free to comment about how miserable you are. Comment maybe what quarterback you guys want to draft. And hang in there, guys. It'll get better. Probably not. Maybe next season. All right. Goodbye. Oh, wait. I'm looking at the wrong camera again. Goodbye. All right.